the area of where you have the most opportunity in the money dynamics in a relationship is really just calling it out loud. Where are all of our disagreements when it comes to money? And one by one, look at how you can overcome those disagreements. Maybe at the end of the day, it's we agree to disagree and we're going to have to come up with some sort of solution, but at least it's gone through to help compromise or get in alignment with each other.
Welcome to the WinEh podcast. This show is focused on empowering ranchers. Whether you're a seasoned rancher or just getting started, we'll guide you on how to use the infinite banking concept as an alternative way to finance your operations. It's a better way to think about money. Join us as we discuss planning for the future, attracting the next generation, and the art of keeping more money within the family. Here's your hosts, WinEh and Lacey.
So glad you are choosing to lean in to our conversation with us today, because I feel like we're both in a little bit of a goofy mood.
It's Friday, so we typically do our recording on Friday afternoons, and let's just be honest, we're ready for the weekend. And we just feel like I don't know, we've powered through the week, and it's Friday afternoon where the workload seems a bit lighter, and so is the mood.
But we might as well, maybe put a little cap in our feather today, as on the day of this recording, which happens to be November 1st, 2024, we are eagerly awaiting our very first shipment of the Farming Without the Bank Canadian version of this book. So, if none of you took advantage of getting it on pre-order, you might want to catch us at a live event or just take the plunge, because it is well worth the dollars that you spend on getting the book at full price. And so, it's a definite cap in our feather to have this. Again, it's literally on the Canva ban right now. It's somewhere in this vicinity, and I'm just waiting.
Yeah, waiting for the knock on the door. So, and the reason why, and maybe some people don't understand and can't grasp the excitement. Guys, this is it. Mary Jo has had so much success with helping people in the US with her book. And that book is now available, tailored to Canadians. And that's what, coming from the US, and then I moved here, it's always oh, that's so awesome. You can get it in the US, but can you get it here? Kind of like plastic straws now. Everybody's smuggling plastic straws when they go to Montana lately. But it's here. It is here, and it's ready. It's at your fingertips. So that is why we are so excited that this shipment, I don't know, it's somewhere in Edmonton. So maybe you're going to get a knock on the office door when we're recording this, that the books are here. We are just here to spread the message.
Yeah. And so one of the things related to the message and sort of shifting gears a little bit about, besides the excitement we have, is just our excitement in being able to discuss our very next topic, which is, money dynamics in a relationship. And they do definitely matter, especially when it comes to sharing or picking a path, right? Instead of like an undiscussed path of how to handle money and where you're going to go. Right?
Yeah. Picking a path. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. Picking a path.
Yeah. Because, quite often, I think most of it's just a human condition, especially what I have really discovered and just really observed in the agricultural community, is that part of the reason why people are getting Farm Without the Bank, it's because it's a direct reaction to the experience that they are having with money. Right? And there's lots of things that really contribute to that experience. And one of them is the dynamic that you have in the relationship with your spouse or even your business partner. And it totally matters, because once you start reading this book, it is a path. It is a lifestyle that you get exposed to. And usually there's one person in the relationship that's introducing it to the other. Exactly how it was for you. Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Reed heard about it on the Working Cows podcast, brought it up to me, and I was like, I don't know about this. And, but I was open-minded, like, I'll read the book. He just said, I remember him saying, will you read the book? And I'm like, yep, I'll agree. I'll read the book. And here we are now.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, I know that you've mentioned it several times before on the podcast, but perhaps you can just mention it again. How long did it take for you to sort of get on board?
Oh, not very long. I believe that we ordered our book in October of 2019, and by December we had policies in place. I think what led to such fast action on our part is we were ready and we were looking for a path. Over the course of our marriage, we had never found a financial path that really resonated and that we felt at peace with. And when we found this, it was like we found peace. And so we just jumped right in with both feet and haven't looked back. So that's not always how it happens. However, when you open your mind and you're ready for it, that's how it should happen. Because the sooner you act, the sooner you put this in place and change the trajectory of your financial future.
Totally agreed. Now, to dig into, the money dynamics in a relationship, really taking a conscious look at, even for the outcome of like, hey, you come across something like the Farm Without the Bank book and one partner likes it. Hopefully in your situation, it was fortunate that you grabbed onto it after you got over the hurdle of like natural skepticism. And, a funny video from me waving from the screen, like, hi, how's it going?
Yeah.
If we look behind the scenes, even before we get to deciding on like what is a financial path to walk down, is really in order to start having some positive money dynamics in your relationship, maybe just doing like a test of like, you probably have a really good understanding of like the money personality that your partner is, right? Now, chances are it's sort of 50-50. You might have the exact same money personality as your partner, or you might have the exact opposite. It's kind of like one or the other, right? It's double the trouble if both partners are spenders, because then it's like a total justification on why to get something. And then there's no boundaries around when to stop, right? And that can cause a lot of issues. And then also, it could also be a little bit more strenuous on a relationship when one person's the spender and one person's the saver. I mean, depending on how that all plays out in the relationship, it could, I guess it just can cause a lot of friction, a lot of resentment, over a period of time.
Yeah, I think so. What's so important, if you're looking for that financial path or you're trying to come to an agreement, in a relationship, whether it's with your spouse or your business partner, what comes to mind, and this comes from working with clients, what first comes to mind is, okay, you're looking for that path. Maybe you didn't start out on the same financial path. It's really important to have the respect, to have some level of respect for the path that your partner has chosen prior, and being willing to compromise. And so when we start talking about this concept, introducing something new, most of the time you haven't heard of this. Most of the time listeners or first-time readers, they haven't heard of this. Hopefully you have an open mind, but willing to just say, okay, like use me and Reed, for example. He brought this to me. I was skeptical, but I needed to respect his idea as his wife. I needed to respect what he brought to me and at least be willing to look at it and consider it as an option. Because if you're not on the same page, it's so much harder.
Yeah, and I love what you just showed there, Lacey, because not only is it a big, do another repeat of what you just did, exactly that, it doesn't help with fostering empathy or cooperation in your relationship,
mm-hmm.
right? So being able to set up financial priorities together, discussing the importance of sharing what your individual, but what your shared financial goals are, and just allowing space for some of your own individual financial aspirations, and then also being able to share like ones that are really joint, can be really amazing. And this is where it could really help to support when certain ideas come where it's like, okay, we're at a crossroads. We kind of know, we have an awareness of where we're financially at or what we're experiencing. And there's a issue, or maybe there's a strong call to change what's currently happening. And I would say that in order for there to be a clear, just an easier path of creating that change, you got to, really being able to focus in on, okay, what are our current money dynamics in working with each other in this relationship, in order to get to a place where you can say, yes, this is the financial path we want to take, right? And not have there be so many obstacles in the way, right?
Yeah, because for sure, when there's obstacles, I mean, let's just face it, the path is harder. If you have one person in the relationship who's gung-ho, let's get started with IBC, and one person who's on the fence, that also poses some obstacles, because I'm going to take off my infinite banking hat and put on my life insurance advisor hat for 1 second. If you are one of the people who are fortunate enough for the life insurance company to approve you for a policy, you don't ever want anything to happen to that policy, because it is an honor to have that. And it is something for your family that in times of need, it's something that's going to show up for your family upon your passing. It's going to provide, legacy preservation, estate preservation, legacy planning, all these things. So if I'm not talking about infinite banking, that is one reason alone that we want our clients on the same page with the same financial path, because it is just such a valuable thing that we put in place for you.
Yeah, I can see how you would say that, as a life insurance advisor, without even touching the subject of and the knowledge of what it means to become your own banker, the infinite banking concept. And at the same time, I heard elements of really you, Lacey, the person, talking of it's a privilege, it's an honor to have this. And you know what? One would not come to that conclusion usually, because there's so much noise out there against life insurance in and of itself, right? Because many people, as we know, it's very natural. So we're not, I'm not sitting there pointing my finger at you, but there's been so much wishy-washy feelings about the word insurance in general. People clump in, travel insurance with auto insurance, with business insurance, with crop insurance, it's just all insurance, all of it's all the same. So, but you're actually coming from a place, from personal experience, that, hey, just because you have the money doesn't mean you get life insurance automatically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So
coming from my own personal experience, if I hadn't had life insurance coverage before I was diagnosed with cancer, I would not be considered insurable at this moment in time. Later on down the road, yes, there's a possibility that they consider me insurable again. And so exactly that's what I was trying to say. It's a privilege. And it is something that you not only do for yourself, but for your family and future generations. And so it's why it's so important to be on the same page, because we don't want you to get this policy and then a year down the road, oh, wait, we're not on the same page and we're disagreeing about this, and so I'm going to cancel this policy. We don't want to see you do that, because once you have this coverage, we want you to have it for life.
Yeah. Okay, so wrangling this conversation back in to the topic at hand, which is money dynamics in a relationship. How just the last few minutes that we were talking about insurance, I guess how it relates to our subject at hand is really navigating financial disagreements. And life insurance could become, it is for most, every time we sit down, one person's, someone's always interested in infinite banking, one partner more than the other, typically. And there is typically a fundamental disagreement on many different things. So there's critical subjects in every relationship, even the one with yourself, about what you want to get, right? Like how much money to spend on groceries, how much money to spend on insurance, what to save for, what not to save for, what are the competing priorities of what to spend your money on. And quite often, life insurance, I'm not going to speak for everyone. Some people will recognize, I find like there's usually one partner who really recognizes that life insurance is needed. Mm-hmm. Really, really needed. And yet it's a bone of contention because the other partner doesn't believe in it. And sometimes it's for reasons that are not necessarily pragmatic or logical. And usually financial decisions are not. They're usually quite emotional, right? There is sort of like a non-serving thought around insurance. Let's just say we're just picking one topic out of like the money dynamic, right? Typically, if the one partner is not wanting life insurance, it's like this underlying grumble that might have come from the generation before, hearing their parents talk about it. It's like, oh, why would I want to get life insurance? It's just one more reason that they might want to strangle me in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, like and you hear it all the time, little grumbles, right? Oh, insurance is dumb and nobody needs it. Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, but meanwhile, behind all of that, just really, again, recognizing in the relationship, one of the areas to really look at in the dynamic is where is it that you agree and where is it that you disagree? And of course, if you agree, that's great. Just check it off and be conscious of it. But it's the area of where you have the most opportunity in the money dynamics in a relationship is really just calling it out loud. Where are all of our disagreements when it comes to money? And one by one, look at how you can overcome those disagreements. Maybe at the end of the day, it's we agree to disagree and we're going to have to come up with some sort of solution, but at least it's gone through, right? To help compromise or get in alignment with each other, right?
Yeah, it goes so much. And, we talk about finances every day, every podcast. And so it's just one more aspect of your financial picture is picking a path and the different dynamics and relationships with money in your partnership, whether it be your marriage or your business.
Yep. And then, and just talking about, what are some potential ideas to overcome a disagreement? I mean, I suppose if you've been disagreeing, having certain financial disagreements for quite some time, it's most likely because, there isn't the bandwidth to know, to really think about, okay, how can we overcome this? Right. But it's also like when there's certain financial disagreements on like really fundamental levels, it is quite often in my personal observation, just through my many years of having many, many different conversations in business partnerships or in spousal partnerships, is that there is a lack of a system that has been created. Or if it is a system, it's sort of a system that was created out of necessity that became the system, but never one that was designed consciously, or one that was not designed, but then not like where you come back and you revise it to make it better each time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it takes work. Just like the episode where I talked about going to the gym, your finances take the same sort of work, and so does your relationship with money.
So if the system is, I guess where we really can help in helping to contribute to a more positive money dynamic in a relationship is, through the infinite banking concept in and of itself. I mean, it's a lifestyle, but it is also a system. I think it's a really powerful option to really help overcome a lot of financial disagreements and help align, financial priorities together. And also in a way, help bridge the gap between the different money personalities that you could be in your financial relationship, because it helps to address the short term and the long term. Right? So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that as I share that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it does work toward addressing short and long term your goals with your finances. And when we apply this to your operation, your farm or your ranch, like all of the same things that we have talked about all apply for that too, because what's your end goal? And then let's work backwards. How are you going to get there? What's your relationship with your finances right now? And are there areas of improvement? Are you not on the same page? We help have those conversations and get you to that place where, where you're working toward that end goal that you have in mind. And so it's, not always an easy conversation, but it's a necessary one if you want to get to that end goal.
So glad you leaned in with us on the WinEh podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.